Hello everyone, welcome back to Animation Station, your number one stop destination, and today we're doing a Scooby-Doo movie tier list. Now, I started doing one, as you can see, but I ended up getting interrupted by stupid technical crap. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to briefly summarize all the ones I already have placed, and then we'll just go from there, because there's still a lot to talk about. And don't worry, I'm saving Straight Outta Nowhere for last, no matter how this thing is. And this is not going to be in exact chronological order, because this guy apparently, whoever made this, did not do that. And every time I tried to do it, it kept resetting itself. So I'm just like, nope, screw it. So, I'll just go through from Scooby Snack to Shadow Realm, and I'll tell you briefly about each movie. So first up is Zombie Island. Now for Zombie Island, I have, well, for one, I have 2 copies of it. If the glare can get out of the way. But yeah, right there, and right there. And pretty much every praise that's been said that could be said about this movie was already said. Not only by myself, at the last Halloween X, which you guys should check out. If you guys want to see me in a Spartan costume. But also because I detailed pretty much every reason about why Zombie Island is the best Scooby-Doo movie and will always be the best Scooby-Doo movie. It actually has real supernatural elements, it's funny, and it's pretty much what made me a horror fan. So, yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Witch's Ghost, a very, very good follow-up. A bit of a downgrade, but it still has supernatural elements, and it's a very good Thanksgiving movie. Dear Cartoon Network, do a 24-hour of this instead of Iron Giants, please. For 1 year. But yeah, that one's the Scooby Snack. That one's awesome. That was a great movie. Alien Invaders, again, not only do I have this one. There we go. I also, I love this movie. I know a lot of people consider this one of the worst movies of the series, and I don't really get it. I don't get it, and I probably will never get it. I think Alien Invaders is still a great film that belongs in the Scooby Snack tier right alongside the other 2 Mook movies. Then we move down to Great tier, which has Goblin King and Sword in the Scoob. Goblin King is a great film for Halloween. And Scooby fans are really going to get a kick out of it, and if it weren't for the fact that it falls into the same trappings as most of the What's New films, I would definitely put it in Scooby Snack. It has that much potential, and it has that much great stuff in it. Soar in the Scoob, the first of the 2 movies that got released this year, is a great film. It was about to do an ROTZL. Yeah, ROTZL. Wait, no, not ROTZL. RTZL. There we go. RTZL. You'll know what that means later in this video. But it did a heel turn, it saved itself. Not only that, it had a legitimately great twist, and it was actually funny, entertaining, and enjoyable all the way through. Not only that, I am a sucker for medieval fantasy. That's why Black Knight is one of my favorite Sonic games. So, yeah, that belongs in the great tier. Jumping down to the good tier is Ghoul School and Curse of the 13th Ghost. This one is a childhood favorite of mine. Oh, God, that DVD reeks with age. But, childhood favorite, still absolutely love it, but I can definitely see its faults. Curse of the 13th Ghost, same thing. I watched the ever-living crap out of the original 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, and seeing a movie based on it for the 50th anniversary was pretty cool. It has a lot of flaws, but I still think it's a perfectly good movie. Then the OK tier is the Scooby-Doo live-action movie. Have seen better, but have seen worse as well. So I can, and it's a childhood favorite. Childhood nostalgia plays a lot into this. And Pirates Ahoy, okay, but again, has a lot of the same problems as most of the What's New films. No films in the still Scooby Snack tier yet, but we have 2 in the Shadow Realm. And yes, my text is having problems. But Curse of the Lake Monster, both of those live-action reboot movies that were direct to TV were utter crap. In fact, we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way as well. This one is also utter crap. Yeah, we'll just get those out of the way. Both of those suck, both of them are crap, and neither of them deserve your time. And then Boo Brothers has the problem of being unbelievably boring. And for those of you who have seen the movie, or Scooby fans that have already reviewed the movie, you guys know exactly why. Okay, now with all that out of the way, we can get to where I was on my original recording. Scooby-Doo meets Batman the Brave and the Bold. This is a Scooby snack. I'm gonna put this right next to Zombie Island. I love Batman the Brave and the Bold. It was one of my favorite cartoons back when Cartoon Network didn't suck. And seeing not only a comeback of that show, but a crossover of it with Scooby-Doo was really, really cool. The animation styles were perfect. It had a great plot. It was funny. It was action-packed. It was pretty much everything I needed it to be. Imagine pretty much a better version of the new Scooby-Doo movies Batman crossover. That's pretty much how I can gauge it. It's a great film, and I definitely think it belongs in the Scooby snack tier. Samurai Sword, one of the only good films in the scattered mess. I don't like it more than Samurai Sword. Great film. Just absolutely great film. I really enjoy Samurai Sword. It is one of the shining lights in the mixed era that was the, What's New era. But yeah, it's a great film in its own right, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out. The Mystery Map, Shadow Realm. How dare you take What's New Scooby-Doo and turn it in the garbage? Seriously. It has no plot, it has no coherency, and it just feels like a lazy cash-in. Not only that, it doesn't tell you what's New Scooby-Doo. A pup named Scooby-Doo. Seriously. And I like how it tried to go with a puppet direction, but the puppets, aside from Scooby, were creepy in the bad way, like the Uncanny Valley. And like I said, it has no plot. It says it has a plot, but it don't have a plot. It is a scatterbrained, boring-ass mess. And gives puppet movies a bad name. Go watch Frank and Zed. That is a better puppet movie. Music of the Vampire. I'll be nice and put it in Stale Scooby Snack. I'll be nice. It had a decent concept, and this was only the second of the Mystery Incorporated era films that we are still in now. But it is still a bad movie. Plain and simple. It's bad, it's boring, it's bland, it's dumb. Joining in Stale Scooby Snack is Aloha Scooby-Doo. Again, same problems as most of the What's New movies, but unlike Samurai Sword, Goblin King, or Pirates Ahoy, it can't overcome it and actually make it good, or even remotely passable. Now, Stage Fright is an interesting one. Stage Fright I'm going to put at the top of the good tier. This one was very interesting. I love its talent show setting. I like how it tried to give us a bit of a closure with the Fred and Daphne relationship until Warner Brothers screwed it all with the... I'm not even going to get into that rabbit hole. That's one rabbit hole I'm not jumping down. But I really do enjoy Stage Fright. I think it's a great film in both... Well, it's almost great. Problem is the ending kind of pisses away most of it. But it's not as bad as most of these movies. I think it's a legitimately good movie, and it is rewatchable, and it is fun. Reluctant Werewolf is none of those things. It is a horrible dumpster fire. It takes what could have been a really cool concept, Dracula hiring Shaggy as a werewolf, because the actual werewolf went on vacation, to a monster race. How do you make a concept like that boring? Well, bad writing, dragging the plot in a snailingly agonizing pace, terrible writing. Have I already mentioned terrible writing? Sorry, I'll move on. Blowing your concept, and taking everything that could have worked about said concept and blowing it to literal crap. It is one of the worst films in the series, and I wish this did not make this canon. I've seen worse Scooby movies, but this is a relentless dumpster fire. This had a great concept, but it botched it horribly. And Reluctant Werewolf has garnered its reputation and has earned it. It could have been really dang cool, but they blew it. They absolutely blew it. Sorry, rant over. Oh wait, no, not rant over. Big Top. Go straight and steal Scooby Snack. Oh, this one had such potential too. I like how it tried to do like a circus setting. That's really cool. It could have went back to the days of like the clown from the original series, the one that can hypnotize people and make them do all kinds of crazy stuff. But this had none of that. Instead, it just threw in werewolves, and then it threw in a very half-assed subplot of thinking Shaggy's going to be a werewolf when in reality he's not. And everything about it just feels rushed, half-assed, and piss poor. Plain and simple. I can't put it in Shadow Realm because it has some decent moments here and there, but it is an absolute mess. Which is why it goes and steals Scooby Snack. Legend of the Phantosaur, you can go right where you belong in the Scooby Snack. Not only did it give us the Ultra Instinct Shaggy meme that later became canon in Mortal Kombat Legends 2, but it's also a legitimately great film in its own right. Both the plots work well together. It's thrilling from beginning to end. It's not in the least bit predictable. Okay, some of it's predictable, but I can let it slide. It's entertaining, it's funny, it has great action, it has great characters. It's just a great film, and one of the best of the entire series. It belongs in Scooby Snack. And again, no one can complain about Ultra Instinct Shaggy being one of the best memes of all time. What I can complain about is Chill Out Scooby-Doo. This movie is garbage. It is terrible. It had a decent concept. You know, going up to the Himalayas and having to deal with an abominable snowman. Problem is, it falls into those same traps as all the What's New films, but it's even worse because it's dragged out to an unbelievably slow and agonizing pace, and it just feels lazy. Because they've already done this multiple times in both shows, not just the original, they did this in What's New as well. So there was no point to make a movie out of it. It could have been cool, and there are some moments here and there that show flashes that it could have been cool, but no, it is a horrible abomination. And, okay, I don't hate it more than Reluctant Werewolf, I'll give it that, but it is still a very bad movie, and I recommend you steer clear of it. Loch Ness Monster, stale Scooby Snack. How dare you make the Loch Ness Monster boring? One of the coolest urban legends of all time, and you turn it into a boring slog. How dare you? Scooby-Doo and Kiss. Oh, man. This is my own bias. I'm just not a Kiss fan. I really didn't get the point of this crossover. It's okay. It has really cool action scenes, and there are funny moments, but it is all just a dream ending, like a Friday the 13th, like it thinks it's a Friday the 13th movie. It pisses it away completely. And that is one way that you can make me endlessly infuriated. Yeah, just bad movie. Bad movie. Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo. This is the one that came out last year, around, Halloween. It can go, it can go in the great tier. I love its Halloween setting. I love that it was written by the guy who made Billy and Mandy, Maxwell Adams. And while it is a bit of a ripoff of Jacked Up Halloween, with Scarecrow from Batman thrown in there for whatever reason, as well as Bill Nye, it just feels like a weird hodgepodge that somehow works. Like they kept throwing things to the wall to see what would stick, and somehow all of it stuck. And while it's bizarre, at the same time, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it is a Halloween themed Scooby-Doo movie. If it wasn't bizarre and it wasn't wacky, I mean, it would be a bit weird for a Halloween film. That's what makes Goblin King work so well, because it's wacky, it's insane, and it's very, very bizarre. But it's still very cool. And I did like how they gave Elvira a bigger role after. We'll get to it. We'll get to it later. Moon Monster Madness. This is another great one. Do I like it more? And no, I don't like it more than Happy Halloween. I think Moon Monster Madness is a really cool film. For one, I do like its space setting. Two, I love how it pays homage to Alien. Again, horror fan who is a massive fan of that series. And it does a lot of really cool things right. But issue is that there are some moments that kind of slow down the pace, some characters that didn't need to be there, and Fred is being unbelievably oblivious and annoying. But aside from that, it's pretty good. And the villain plot twist at the end was actually legitimately surprising. I mean, she was gonna blow up the entire space station with everyone inside. I mean, that is all kinds of screwed up in the head, but still, it raised the tension and it made it feel more important and enthralling. And that's what I thought it would be. It's just a fun space adventure. Plain and simple. You know it's not a fun adventure? Where's My Mummy? Garbage. Utter garbage. It took a decent concept and turned it into crap. None of it worked. And here's the thing, a little spoiler alert. If Velma is supposed to be the person trying to drive away the hunters and dressing up to scare them away along with the prince, why does she put her friends into danger more times than pretty much any other monster in the past few movies? I get that some of it was unintentional. I get that. But that twist of Velma being the actual mummy queen just pisses away everything. I hate this movie. If you guys want to know why this movie's so bad, check out Toongren's worst Scooby-Doo movies list. It goes into every single good plot detail I can think of. Okay, that rant's over for now. Cyber Chase. Put you right where you belong. Right about here. Cyber Chase is a dang good movie. Unfortunately, yes, it's obviously, despite being a Mook movie, it doesn't have the same animation. And yes, you can tell it is a bit more modernized, but it does do a lot of really cool things. For one, I love the video game concept. I thought the villain himself was that perfect amount of, like, dumb and kooky as well as legitimately intimidating, and I did like his design. Again, they did do everything is real concept, which works really well. And the final battle with two different versions of the Scooby Gang against the virus in a arcade. I mean, who can blame themselves for that? I probably just screwed that up royally. But yeah, that movie is really good. That can go right there in the Scooby snack tier where it belongs. Gourmet Ghost, trash. It makes sense because it is Scooby and Shaggy and they love food, but it's trash. It's bad. It is bad, just bad movie. Throw it in the Shadow Realm. Scoob. Oh boy, I'm gonna piss off a lot of people with this. Scoob is the movie that was supposed to start a live-action Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. And a lot of people found this to be a very boring, predictable mess. I, however, think it is great. Barely great, but still great. I think its animation is very top notch. I loved the heart of the film, which was Scooby and Shaggy's relationship. That played out really well. And I think that it had a decent concept. And Dick Dastardly being the villain, I mean, no one can deny Jason Isaacs did an amazing job with that role. He just had so much fun with it, and you could tell. And there was a lot of funny moments. My issue is that the rest of the gang that isn't Scooby and Shaggy takes a backseat and feels shoehorned. Not only that, celebrity voices and why. You keep Frank Welker as Scooby, but you change all the other voices? What's the point? And Blue Falcon being a total dick. Like, I hate Blue Falcon in this movie. He is one of the parts that make me cringe, and Mark Wahlberg voicing him makes it even worse. Sorry, I just don't like the guy. But I still think it's a legitimately great movie, and it does have a lot of heart. And that's all I'm going to say. I know a lot of people think it's just barely Scooby-Doo, but keep in mind, guys, it's supposed to be a setup film and a Scooby-Doo movie. For what it is, I think it sets both of them up perfectly fine and perfectly well. I know a lot of people are going to give me shit for that opinion, but it's the honest truth. I really enjoy Scoob. I think it's a really good movie. Abracadabra-Doo, the first movie of the Mystery Incorporated era. You can go in the great tier. You can go right there. Abracadabra-Doo is an absolute blast. The only reason it's not a Scooby snack is just little minor nitpicks with the actual mystery. Aside from that, everything else about it's great. I love the magic school concept. I love the comedy, which is perfect. I like how they gave Shaggy a bit of a love interest or something like that. I don't really know if it was a love interest per se, but it's very unique, to say the least. Let me check the battery. 12. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to try to speed through some of these because my throat hurts and my battery is going to die. So I need to make sure to get this video done before it dies, or I'm going to lose all of it. So, yeah. But, Abracadabra-Doo, great movie. Just absolutely great movie that really showed the potential that the Mystery Incorporated era had. Well, still has. It's still really good. You know what's really not good? Monster in Mexico. You guys know exactly where that's going. Have fun in the Shadow Realm. The absolute worst of the What's New movies. And one of the worst, for the longest time, it was the worst movie in the franchise. It dragged like a rock. The pacing was incredibly slow. The voice acting sounded bland and disinterested. The mystery itself is inaccurate as well as offensive to the Mexican culture. And it's just a horrible cash-in mess. Not only that, how dare it disrespect the Mexican culture? That just crosses the line. And a lot of other things about the movie, the rest of it's just a bore on top of all of that, which just makes it unwatchable. It's just a bore. I hate it. I hate Monster in Mexico, and for the longest time, it was the worst movie in the franchise. Blue Falcon, you can go right where you belong. Right there. Blue Falcon is a great film. It does everything right. For one, it's the actual Blue Falcon, not this a-hole. Get out of here. And it was funny all the way through. It was action-packed. It had a great mystery to it. And it plays up the Comic-Con setting very well. It both parodies it as well as homages it. Not only that, there's a lot of great Easter eggs in here for die-hard fans, like Captain Caveman and Space Ghost and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool to see. And the plot itself is excellent. And no one will ever complain about the great Adam West being the voice of Blue Falcon, because this literally is like Scooby-Doo crossing over with the 60s Batman show. And having Adam West voice the original Blue Falcon, who's now a bitter crazy old man. Well, not so crazy, but I'm not going to spoil too much about it. This is one movie you gotta see for yourself, guys. It is an excellent film. Definitely belongs in the Scooby Snack tier. You know what doesn't? Legend of the Vampire. The first of the What's New films. But I will be nice. It brought back the Hex Girls. I'll give it that. And it does have some decent moments. So I'll put it in the middle of the stale Scooby Snack tier. I don't think it is the worst thing ever. I have seen far better movies. I mean, look how many are in the Shadow Realm. But it is still a bad movie. And while I love the What's New Scooby-Doo show itself, the movies are very hit or miss. And that's why it is in the stale Scooby Snack tier. Camp Scare. Ooh. You know how to get me interested in the Scooby movie? You tell me that it's taking direct inspiration from Friday the 13th. That alone gets you a top 3 spot. But on top of that, you also make it an incredibly well done film with excellent side characters, a surprisingly great and unpredictable mystery, fantastic action scenes, a lot of really, really cool monster designs here. And of course, it's still funny, and it still has all the things that make Scooby-Doo Scooby-Doo, but it has a lot more of a actual straightforward horror edge to it. I mean, they go to a summer camp. How more blatant can you get? But it uses all that to make a fantastic installment. I freaking love Camp Scare. It is one of the absolute best in the franchise, without a doubt. Frank and Creepy, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It is going into the stale Scooby Snack. I don't hate it more than Legend of the Vampire. It can go right there. Frank and Creepy had a really cool concept, but it pissed it away completely. For one, I gotta say this right now, I just don't like Kate McCucci's Velma. I just don't. I find the voice annoying, and I found her character to be very brainy Smurf. I'll just put it like that. For those of you that know your animated characters, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say she's a brainy Smurf. But aside from that, what else makes the movie bad? Well, for one, it takes a really cool concept, like all the gang having these different things happen to him because of this curse of the Franken Castle. But here's the problem. It pisses it away by saying that all of it was set up. Like Daphne becoming this bigger woman, and then revealing how it was just a bunch of stuff they put underneath of the dress that they put on her. That is just stupid. It's so dumb. How would she not be able to recognize that? I get that she's a teenager. I get that. But that doesn't mean that she's that stupid. I mean, come on. Sorry. Okay, next. I do not feel ready to tackle this. So I think I'm just going to save it for Halloween. Here's all you need to know for right now. Every bad thing you've heard about this piece of shit is 100% true. And it is the worst Scooby-Doo movie ever. That's all you need to know. I'm not going to say more about it. I'm going to save all my hatred and rage for this piece of shit. I'm going to save it all for Halloween. It's going to be the movie I used to transition into this year's Scooby-Vember. I'm not going to say any more about it, and from here on out, it doesn't exist. Got it? Good. Shaggy Showdown, you can go into... Yeah, there. Shaggy Showdown's a bad movie. I hate to say that because I like the Western setting. And I did like the idea of them having to overcome the legacy of their ancestor, well, the infamousy of their ancestors, I should say. But they piss it all away, and not to mention, Velma is an absolute problem and a nightmare to deal with in this installment. I mean, not as bad as you know what. But it's still bad. It is just a bad movie that took a good concept and completely pissed it away. Curse of the Speed Demon. Alright, I'm just going to get the two WWE movies out of the way right now. The first, WrestleMania, I'm going to put into the great tier. Right about here. I think, for what it is a great crossover. Is it unnecessary? Yes. Does it feel like a blatant cash grab? Yes. But in this case, you can't really blame Hanna-Barbera because Sony did the same thing. And yes, while it is a definite cash grab, it's actually better than you may think. It is a legitimately great Scooby movie. And I think they blended the two together actually quite well. And I do think that the Demon Bear idea was really cool. And having Scooby and Shaggy wrestle Kane, that's just funny on too many levels to even try to explain. It has great comedy, it blends both of the worlds together perfectly, and John Cena, I'm surprised, he actually sounds legitimately interested in this movie. Because he does put in a decent voice performance. I mean, yes, he does look a bit weird in this animation style, like all the WrestleMania people do. And I'm not a WWE fan in the slightest, but I think it's a great film. I have a great time with it. And I do think, for what it is, which is a crossover, it does really well. Now, yes, I know a lot of people are going to call me out saying it's a horrible pile of crap that belongs in the Shadow Realm. Well, I'm not going to say that you're... I can understand if you people hate this movie, okay? Let me put it that way. I can understand if you guys think this is a horrible pile of crap that deserves to be in the Shadow Realm. I can understand. But for me, I find it great, rewatchable, entertaining, and has a legitimately really good twist at the end. And that's all I can say. I think the original WrestleMania Mystery is a good movie. The Curse of the Speed Demon is the one that belongs in the Shadow Realm. Okay, I don't hate it more than Reluctant Werewolf. I'll be nice. Curse of the Speed Demon takes everything that made this work and pisses it away. For one, it's not even wrestling, it's racing, which is already a bad sign. But then you throw in the more forced crossover this time through. And while it does have wrestlers that weren't in the WrestleMania Mystery, it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better, it just makes it worse. And everything else about it is predictable, bland, boring, and all kinds of forgettable. So yeah, horrible pile of garbage. This is the one that I will not at all defend. It is trash. Monsters Unleashed. Oh boy. Well, at least we're almost done. How much battery life? 10. Yeah, we can get through 3 and 10. Monsters Unleashed is a Shadow Realm film. Without a doubt. It is unwatchable on top of being predictably boring and stupid. Yes, it has Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, and it has some decent concepts, like Scooby and Shaggy trying to solve the mystery themselves. I like that idea. I really like that idea. Or them having the concept of, hey, let's have Scooby fake some kind of disease to try and get away from the gang so that they can solve the mystery on their own. That's a cool idea. Problem is, they over-explain it. And yes, I do like how they brought back famous villains as ghosts, but the main villain himself is garbage. It's bad. Not to mention, horrible plot twist. But hey, I'll give it this. It's not Daphne and Velma, one of the most forced, boring, horrible piles of crap that I have ever seen in my life. Horrible. Just absolutely atrocious piece of crap. I cannot believe. Why was it even a thing? For one, the acting, terrible. Effects, terrible. Story, terrible. Everything about this piece of crap is terrible. It just feels like a blatant cash-in. It's not even the kind of movie where you can pop a drink and laugh at it. It is a movie that even if you were drinking, you would still not find anything to make fun of. Because it is just one of those films that you can't rewatch again. That you just can't. Horrible garbage. Okay. Now to everything this has been leading up to. The final film in this entire tier list and the latest Scooby-Doo movie to date, Straight Outta Nowhere. Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now, from what I've seen online, the reactions to this movie have been, well, mostly positive, but some have been mixed. Like, one guy I saw online, when I looked up YouTube reviews for it, said that it was a 2.5 out of 5, below average. And that scared me, thinking that this was going to be another horrible cash-in. But I am happy to report that Straight Outta Nowhere is a great film. And definitely the better of the two Scooby movies that came out this year. I think it belongs in the top 10 best of the franchise, and here is why. It took everything that made Courage and Scooby both work, and found a way to mesh it together perfectly. It made it into an incredibly rewatchable, highly entertaining, extremely funny, reference-filled movie that is incredible. And the fact that it took them this long to make this crossover after all the ad bumpers they kept doing about this Halloween spookathon way back when, it blows my mind that this even exists. But it works so well. And everything, it's just such a great film. And there are only a few little minor nitpicks and flaws that are keeping me from putting this in that Scooby Snack tier. The first is the horrible Out of Place rap song. The first of the 3 songs featured in this movie is total, utter shit. And it felt like a corporate executive trying to get in touch with the mojo of the modern generation by having terrible rapping that feels like something that came straight out of a horrible cereal commercial. How about that? It just felt corporate, unneeded, and forced. And the other big thing that I think everyone's going to point out when reviewing this, it is more of a Courage movie than a Scooby movie. Now, I'm glad they put the focus on Courage. Like, unlike a lot of these crossovers, like the WrestleMania one, for example, while they do cross over, it still feels like a mostly Scooby-Doo movie. This one feels like it belongs as a Courage film more than a Scooby film. And that is really good, and I'm really glad that they focused more on Courage over Scooby-Doo. That was really nice to see, especially since we haven't seen Courage in forever. But the problem is that it makes the rest of the gang, the rest of the gang, Fred, Daphne, and Velma, feel very shoehorned in and unnecessary. This could have very easily been a Courage the Cowardly Dog movie, but have Scooby and Shaggy thrown in to make it an actual crossover, not have to throw the whole gang in here. And it does have moments where it does drag, and some moments that are a bit cringy. But to me, personally, it's a great film. I think it really did everything that the hype built it up to be. It was funny. It didn't sanitize Courage. It actually does have a lot of scary things in it. It has a really good twist at the end with two of Courage's old school villains actually coming back. And not only that, they got the original voice actor, which is incredible. And of course, a very touching and sweet final performance from Thea White. Her final performance as Muriel was touching, it was sweet, and it was very heartwarming, which makes it even sadder that she's gone. And it's a real shame because this was the first time we had the Courage cast together for a project in years. And it's sad that if only a few days before it came out, she passes away. And now it just sucks, man. All the celebrity deaths that happened this year have really sucked. And Theo White's probably one of the ones that hurts the most, to be completely honest with you. I think her final performance was touching. And it's definitely one that I'm going to remember for a very long time. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it is an amazing final performance, and this crossover gave me everything I wanted. It was funny, it was action-packed, it had great Easter eggs, and having Courage at the forefront while being a double-edged sword was still incredibly refreshing. The two work off together very well. It has a lot of great, funny moments. It has some decent scares for the kids. And again, the twist at the end, it was surprisingly smart. And Velma, I'll give them this. They're working on making Velma a lot less of a pain to watch all the time. But and this is definitely going to be in my best movies of the year. It is easily a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10 for me. It is that close to being a Scooby Snack, a 10, a fantastic film. But some things about it just keep me from putting it on that higher pedestal. But as far as the Scooby movies of this year go, this one wins. Easily. I love both of them, don't get me wrong. I love Soarin' the Scoob and I love Straight Outta Nowhere. But Straight Outta Nowhere is bar none the superior. Not just because it's a crossover, but because it's a damn good crossover that takes everything that makes both shows work so incredibly well, meshes them together, and makes something amazing. And I definitely think that this is one that I'm definitely going to be adding to my collection. And yes, I know my collection is very small right now, but this is one I'm definitely adding to it the minute that I get the chance. I love Straight Outta Nowhere, and I highly recommend it. If you're a Scooby-Doo fan, or a Courage the Cowardly Dog fan, or both, like me, you're gonna love this movie. Because it does everything that the hype built it up to be, and almost everything about it works. It just has a few little minor nitpicks that keep it from being perfect. But I definitely think that for what it is a fantastic film. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna throw it in the Scooby Snack tier for all the things it does right. it belongs in the top tier. Okay. Now for the top 10 best and worst. I did this little roundup when I talked about the Dragon Ball Z movies, so I'll go ahead and just do them for the Scooby movies as well. So let me count here. Okay, so here's how the top 10 best goes. The best is Abracadabra Do at number 10, Straight Outta Nowhere at number 9, Alien Invaders at 8, Legend of the Phantasaur at 7, Cyber Chase at 6, which is Ghosts at 5, Batman Brave and the Bold at 4, Camp Scares 3, Blue Falcons 2, and number 1, Zombie Island. And then for the worst films, the worst films are all Shadow Realm. And they are Boo Brothers at number 10, Mystery Map at number 9, Be Cool, or Big Chill, Chill Out, whatever it's called. The Winter What's New Scooby-Doo movie at number 8, Where's My Mommy at 7, Gourmet Ghost at 6, Cursed Speed Demon at 5, Reluctant Werewolf at 4, Monster of Mexico at 3, Daphne and Velma at 2, and at number 1, Horrible Abomination that will not be named and will not be mentioned until Halloween of 2021. So, what do I think of the Scooby movies overall? They, for the most part, are very hit or miss. Like this is the most movies I've ever put in a Shadow Realm tier out of all the tier lists I've done on this channel. But they have surprisingly had a lot of great films too. Like, a lot of great ones. And I'm still happy to be a Scooby-Doo fan. But there's definitely things they need to improve on for the future. And that's where I stand on it. Okay, long video, even longer than the freaking Dragon Ball Z movie video. Holy crap. But, yeah, that's going to do it for today's videos. That's going to do it for the videos of today. I need to go get a throat lozenge. My voice is hoarse from talking so much. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. Let me know your top 10 best and worst Scooby-Doo movies in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts of Straight Outta Nowhere in the comments below. I'm very interested to see what you guys think of this movie. And just let me know down below what you guys think of the video and what you guys want to see in the future. Okay? Halloween X is around the corner. We got some more videos for Super Saiyan-Tember to help finish it out before then. But for now, I'm signing out. Jad Small of Animation Station. Thank you guys for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, shout out to the Station Squad, and I'm out. Peace!